Hi everybody, this is a video overview of this knife, and this knife is the Jarosz M75. This is one of the later generations of M75. I got this one in February, and I want to go through this knife pretty quickly in an overview in preparation for a review. So the blade steel is AEBL, and the handle scale is made of G10. AEBL is a German steel, usually used in razor blades. It's very similar to Sandvik's 13C26 and 14C28N. Somewhere in between there in terms of the formula and carbon content and things like that. This knife is a handmade knife. There are some parts that are batch cut, but most of the parts are cut in-house by Jesse. Everything is fitted together by Jesse. Everything is ground by Jesse and sanded by Jesse. So the knife's big plus for me is that it has a fantastic handle. The handle is definitely and without question the best handle on a Fully knife I've ever seen. It just really sort of locks your hand in and it feels comfortable in the hand. The other thing is this knife has a sculpted titanium pocket clip. Let's see if I can get it to focus there. And so there's this sculpted titanium pocket clip. And normally, I hate these clips because they just stick in your hand, they have no tension, they're just not very good. But this one has, all the edges have been eased, and even the pocket clip is contoured, so there's a little slight curvature to it. And the end result is, it's like almost completely unnoticeable by your hand when the knife is in your hand. The jimping is really well cut. This is a liner lock. I actually prefer liner locks to frame locks. I know that's probably not the most popular opinion, but I like this knife a lot, and I like the liner lock a lot. As you can see, this has what is usually called late lockup. My understanding is that Jesse learned his lock geometry by studying Bob Trzula's lock geometry, and Bob Trzula apparently has traditionally very late lockup. Personally, I don't have any problem with the late lockup. I mean, the knife is super, super, super tight. There is no blade play at all. And so, as long as the lock works, I don't really get this fascination with early lockup. I mean, I guess it says that there's time for the lock to wear in, but most of the time that people are complaining about this, they're complaining about it on knives that probably never get used. I have carried and I have used this knife. Probably needs to be resharpened a little bit because I have been using it a lot. But it's been a very, very good user, and it's just so polite and nice in the pocket. There's the hidden lanyard hole, so you can just loop something through there. I really like the way that looks. It looks great. It sort of stands off, makes the spine look a little bit more interesting, a little bit more visually appealing, and it doesn't have this big perforation in the handle scale. The grind on this knife, and I think you can probably guess because it's a Jesse Jarosz, but the grind is absolutely fantastic. If you look at the grind lines there, you can see that they are like super, super, super sharp. The plunge line here is really nice and crisp. Jesse is even smart enough to just put in a tiny little ricasso so you can sharpen it all the way to the edge. And the grind lines are symmetric from side to side. The main flats are stone washed, and the main bevel is grinder satin, and then the final edge is actually a little polished. The pivot screw uses a regular, good old-fashioned Torx bit, so you don't have to mess around with it. And everything on this knife is well considered and well done. It's not a tremendously flashy knife. Jesse does make some higher end versions, but I just wanted a very nice basic user, and this is a really good knife. It's a great, 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 great pocket knife. You can just drop this in your pocket and carry it with you all day. One of the things about this knife is that it is part of the way Jesse is doing knives now. Instead of having books, he is just making a bunch of knives and then releasing them on a Sunday. And you sit by your computer, wait until 5 or 6 p.m. Eastern or Central Time, and then just go ahead and buy it. I was going to buy one that had Westinghouse micarta on it. Unfortunately, somebody beat it to me, and this was my second choice. And I'm actually quite glad I got this knife. I really, really do enjoy having it. This is my second Jesse Jarosz custom. I have one of his JFS fixed blades. I also had a while ago an early Jarosz knife, and I can tell you that Jesse has really improved his craft since then. This is a much better knife than that early knife. That early knife was not bad, but it was not the best knife I'd ever handled. And this knife really is pretty extraordinary. I have a hard time finding something to criticize about it, especially because these handle scales are just incredible. You look, you can see the contouring that he does. I mean, he just does a lot of work by hand on these knives. There's a little extra cutout there, and some curves here. It just feels exactly right. The negative angle comes right into where you want your knife, your hand to be. The jimping is perfectly placed. It's not a super complex knife, and it eschews many of the traditional features that we want in a custom. It's not a flipper, it's not a frame lock, but this is just a damn good custom knife. So if you get a chance, go over to his website, Jarosz Knives, and check it out. Hang out there on a Sunday and see if you can get something. They're all pretty good, and they're all great users. So go give them a look, and look out for the written review of this knife coming soon.